And so today my Granny Fit project is to empty my kitchen out of everything that the dust will collect on, and get on my hands and knees with a sander and lightly sand this old floor and try to get it done before noon and get the primer and the finish on and dry before everyone comes, if they come tonight for music night. Some are out of town. So it's going to be quite a workout just doing that, and I'll do little short preview pictures along the way. I'll take all these things down behind because they'll collect all the sawdust off the floor. And so, well, I emptied all my cupboards. I took everything in the other room and piled it high on my dining room table, and I emptied all my shelves. And my poor fish, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. They're heavy. I took some of the water. I think I'll just throw a towel over them. And I taped, I don't know if you can see it, took all my pots and pans down. And so I taped up all of the cupboards, because the design of these cupboards, you can't see the tape, but the design of these cupboards is that they have a crack between each door, and there's nothing to stop dust going through. And if you've ever dry or sanded anything or drywalled anything, you know how invasive dust can be. Now these cupboards here didn't have doors, so I had to empty them. And so I'm just about to tape my last cupboard. I've got some fake plants at the very top, but they need washed anyway, so I'm not worried about it. It's supposed to be up there anyway. And I've secured the doors, and I've actually put a big sheet over this one because there was no door. And I've shut the living room sliding doors and the ones going upstairs, and I'm going to shut this dining room door and put a mat under it. And I'm just about ready after I tape my last cupboard. I'm just up here applying tape to my cupboard because this one's got kind of a crack down the middle. It's the design of the cupboard. It's a cupboard kit that I put together myself on the dining room table. When we bought the house, we had really no kitchen to speak of. It was a room with one time for most of its life a wood stove, which I wouldn't mind kept. But the previous owners got rid of the wood stove, unfortunately. And it was like some plywood shelves and old annoying floors. But I had to build a cupboard. The insurance company wouldn't insure the house unless it had a usable kitchen in it. So this is for the bank insurance. And a reasonable bathroom. And they give us 30 days to gut the old part of the house and put in a kitchen and a bathroom. And it was winter time, and the roof caved in because the house was a fixer-upper, and it needed fixing. And it's basically the roof was rotten. And the previous owners, or their children who were trying to sell it, threw some old tin up over the roof. And we had a heavy snowfall that winter in a week. And when we went to take the ceiling tiles down to check on the leak, all the joists and trusses in the roof were rotten to be, like mushy rotten. And so I gave them a tap to see. It was me, I did it. I gave them a tap to see how rotten they were because my husband was at work. He was working out of town then. And the whole thing caved in. So there we were. I actually have pictures. Maybe I'll find one and post it for you so you see it. Of snow on a hill. And there we are. With no roof. With some trees. So, it's been an experience, to say the least, to do this house. And I quit my job. I was doing a rural kind of like nursing and care. And I quit it because I had the best pay to work on the house. And that's why I built these cupboards. Like I said, it was a Home Depot kit that was on sale because we were in a hurry. And I thought, you know, it had that antique, turn-of-the-century look. And I was trying to, at that time, restore, not renovate. So I wanted to have something that looked authentic for the age of the house. And it was easy to put together, time-consuming, but easy. And it did the walls while I put the cupboards together. So, unfortunately, I didn't realize when I looked up a nice display at Home Depot that they'll have this little crack between where the doors hang, and dust gets in. So whenever we do anything in here, we have to tape everything. So that's my taping done. And that's what I'm going to do anyway. And now back down to the sanding. some nice bird's eye maple on this floor, here and there, not every piece, but some of it. So we've had this floor laid for 5 years, and I've never finished it because we're renovating for 5 years. And I didn't want to put the work into finishing it and then have it ruined when we're renovating, because everything in the house needs to be redone. And so we're almost done everything in the house. We just have to do the ceilings in the front hall and the ceilings in the living room, and then we're going to plaster the walls and paint them. The living room, and then a little bit in the entrance to our bedroom. So anyways, the worst of what has to happen in the kitchen, I think that hope is done. So that's why I'm going over it. I'm being with not a fine sanding first, but not a high grit. I don't want to scratch it, you know, a little heavier than fine, not medium. And just enough to bring up that nice grain. And then I'm going to go over with a fine one, and then I'm going to seal it and wax it. So I'm still working at it, and I look scary over now. Here's my floor so far. It's 2 coats. I had to really sand it though. There's some spots by the door here, see where it's really darker. It's water damage because we had a mat here. And people came in and left the boots dripping on the mat. But you know, it's pretty good. It's just a 130-year-old floor. It's kind of worn by my desk here too, because I had a desk chair here, and the desk chair made little dents in the wood, and I sanded and sanded and sanded. I don't know if you can see this or not. There's little wee holes, hundreds and hundreds of little holes and scrapes from the bottom of that old chair. So I didn't want the floor to cave in down there like a low spot. So for 130 years old, it's not bad. And you can see the shine from the light coming in from the window. So it's got 2 coats of the finish on now. I have 1 more coat to do. And it took me from 8:30 yesterday morning, starting getting to the kitchen, till about 8:30 last night, and I was so sore I had to move. I went to my daughter's, took pain pills, and sat in a hot tub. And there's some still a mess on the counter. This is the power tools I used. I ended up having to use 3 different types of sanders because I couldn't get under the edges. And then after 2 pain pills in the hot tub, I still went to bed sore all over and prayed for God to give me less pain by morning so I could finish this. And then I sanded all around the edges this morning. Eric helped me for a little while he was waiting for something to dry or whatever, because he's working on that room, getting that room done out there. So it's ready if my sister comes. And we worked again, and I'm still working, so that started. So probably 16 hours anyways into this floor. And there you go, that was my workout for Friday. I haven't even done my workout Saturday unless I include the 8 or 10 hours I've already put in here. Now see, there's a dark spot in front of the fridge too. That's from when I was canning. I spilled grape juice. And it's right into the floor. I wonder if it's on both sides. Maybe it's just the way the light's hitting it. Well, it doesn't look quite as bad here. So it's, you know, it's had 130 years of history, this floor. So not bad, really.